Hello everybody. This is K-Pix with Badland Studio, and today I am bringing you Kinetic Void D9 Career Mode. So that's for those of you who do not want to have all the parts at your disposal. This is going to be a lot more challenging, and it's going to force you to start with a smaller ship, build a relationship with factions later on, and be able to earn income and buy new components, as opposed to having everything right away. So what I'm going to do is start a new galaxy. I'm just going to name it Career D9, and today's date, which is Valentine's Day. Hooray! And go ahead and get this guy set up. So we have 17 sectors, 17 factions. Click Start. It'll take a few seconds to get into my shipyard, and ta-da, here I am. Something to keep in mind: on the far right hand side here we have available modules. On the far left hand side we have our ship stats. So that's going to be our ship name. I'm just going to call this one little guy, since it's not going to be very big. Save him and start building. So we start with a cockpit module. It's labeled as a CNC, and we have sizes 1 through 5. When you are in career mode, you're only going to be seeing size 1 components. So that means your ship is by default going to be relatively small. If you're wondering what I just did, click on the module you want to use. Click. Move your mouse away from the modules and put it over top of the cube. You'll see that the module you clicked on is now in place. Click on the cube, the module gets placed for you, and anytime you put your mouse over it, it goes kind of semi-transparent and blue. Right click on the module, go to subsystem, and this is where you get to be able to add your sensors and your armor. Now, your armor is going to add mass to the ship, so you can see that it adds mass and durability. Your sensors and sensor boosters is what's going to make it so you can actually see farther away from your ship. A basic sensor is what I would at least recommend, and that's going to start bumping out this power needed. So the more sensors you add, the more power you need to, well, power them. We have a cockpit. Let's go ahead and start putting a hull on. Click on hull. We have 4 hull pieces here. And what's kind of interesting is once you click on them and you have them in place, you can either press E or Q, and you can actually rotate them around. I'm going to say, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Roughly 15-degree increments, if I did that right, for how much each time you hit E or Q. And then also, if you hit R, that's going to switch what node is touching the other surface. So in this case, the nodes are the little blue triangles here. And we can just keep pressing R, and it'll just keep cycling through. Now, since I did like it the original way that it was set up, I am just going to leave it like that. Alright, so now we have a cockpit and a hull. What goes in the hull, you ask? What powers your ship? The reactor. So, the reactor is going to give us a power of 300, which is great, but we need a kinetic field generator for A, defense, and B, the ability to do our little micro warping around. So you actually need to have a kinetic field generator on your ship to be able to fly properly. Since our ship is small, we don't actually need crew quarters. I am going to give myself a little cargo bay, so that way if I remember to collect stuff later, once we have the other patches put in, I can do that. And then also a couple pieces of armor. So now you notice that our power needed is 285. That's because of that kinetic field generator. And our total power is 300. We have that because of the reactor. Now I can tell you that once we add our engine on the back and our weapon, that is going to take up a little bit more power. So here's our engine, subsystems, and here's what actually gives our ship thrust. So you click on these and you now have thrust: forward, pitch, side, roll, and backwards. Your forward thrust must always be greater than your mass. The reason for this is if you don't have enough forward thrust versus your mass, your ship's never going to go anywhere. You can add engine boosters if you want to continue making your engine stronger. And just keep in mind that is going to adjust your power requirement. Next, I'm going to add one of our other hull pieces that we had, so I can add another reactor bay, because we don't have quite enough power on this ship right now. Let's get this guy in place. We'll just lay him along the base. Now, something to keep in mind is that if you press the tab button, you can actually go into what's called freeform mode, and you can just literally freely place this anywhere against any of these other components. So you can actually see how the angles are all changing up and stuff like that. I do tend to like the Lego feel when you have the node mode on though, so I do tend to use that for any ship that I create. I'm adding another reactor. We don't need a whole lot more power. We only need another 65. So I am only adding one more reactor to that. Now, before I do that, you can see where it says jump drive and it takes up 8. This jump drive is actually used for larger ships. The way the game is set up, you can do what's called a micro jump on your own from within a sector and be able to jump from a point of interest to another point of interest, and that's not a big deal. However, when you look at the larger map, we have it set up so in the future we'll be using what are called jump gates if you don't have a jump drive on your ship. A jump drive basically means you don't have to go find yourself a little gate, go through it, and then follow the rules for wherever you can go from that. It's like a bus station. This is you having your own personal jet, so you can go wherever you want. So let's get that reactor put back, make sure we have enough power, enough thrust, alright. And now, last but not least, we do want to make sure that we do have at least one weapon on our ship. Now this one is kind of tricky because this is a fixed cannon, I can tell you just by looking at it. And by putting a fixed cannon on the top of our ship, that means that our ship has to be directly facing any enemy that we want to fire on. So keep that in mind. I mean, we're not going to have a ton of variation there. I'm going to save my ship real quick, and then I'm going to show you the store. Click on stores at the bottom right hand side, just underneath your modules, and you can see what parts you can actually buy for your ship. You start with 10,000 credits, so you do actually have some available funds for you. The only thing I'm looking for right now are additional weapon pieces to use. So here's what we have for our weapons, and then down here this is actually, this is all ore. This is what your mining drones would be able to mine if you have a creative mode and you actually build a mining ship. So I want to have a turret style weapon. Now the only trick is that it has to be relatively cheap because, like I said, I only have 10,000 credits to use. So you can see at the top right hand side we have W2, W3, W5. That is what tier that weapon group is. So W2 is tier 2, W5 is tier 5. You can also see that there is a relationship in the price. 4,000 credits for size 2, 35,000 for size 5. So we just want a little size 1, preferably turret. So we have a turret cannon 3, size 1, he's 2,200. Click on that, he's going to show up, click on deal, and now he will be added to our inventory. So you notice now in our weapons we actually have a turret. So no offense to our fixed gun, it works great, but I'm going to go ahead and put a turret in its place and then put the fixed gun on the bottom. So now our ship has literally the bare bones that it needs to be able to function. We have more forward thrust than mass, we have adequate pitch and side thrust, we have more than enough roll and more than enough backwards thrust. That means our ship is actually going to be pretty agile. When we want to color it, click on profiles at the top here, and you can actually select a profile from that group of colors if you like, or you can start from scratch and you can actually just change everything however you want it to be. So you can go bright, light, whatever the case may be. I like everything except for that one white piece. So, and if you're wondering what one white piece, it's this one on the side of this weapon. So I just want to see what controls that. It must be this guy right here. Yep, there we go. I just want it to be more of a gray instead of a white. Alright, so now we have our ship colored, we have it named, we have it saved. The only thing left to do is to launch. Click on launch, it's going to say overwrite ship, and then it's going to dump you out into a random galaxy, which is going to be technically your home if you want to look at it like that. And this is where you are. I'm going to start going through some key bindings now. You can change them anytime you want by pressing escape and going to game guide, going to options, and then go to controls, and you'll actually be able to see where all those key bindings are associated. So you can change those around if you want to. It's totally up to you. But for the current time being, you can see that I'm right now I'm right clicking my mouse and dragging right and left. That's what's allowing me to just rotate my camera. If I want to rotate my ship, however, I'm going to press the letters A or D. Technically, port is to the left, starboard's to the right. If you want to tilt your ship up or down, you're going to be using W to tilt down, S to tilt up, and if you want to roll left or right, you're going to use Q to roll to the left, and E to roll to the right. If you don't feel nauseous yet, we can continue moving forward. Holding down the shift button and pressing the letter R will give you full thrust. That means your throttle is all the way maxed out, and right now we are going 950 meters per second. This green area that's highlighted is the health of my ship. This blue area that I have highlighted now is the strength of my shield, which is governed by my kinetic field generator, that thing that I said is super important. And then MWD is our micro warp drive. When this guy is green, that means we can initiate a warp if we choose to. If he is red, that means we gotta wait a minute till we can use him. My HUD, or heads-up display, is the radar icons that are in front of me. You can see that we have these small ones on the right hand side towards the bottom. This is a station icon. So this is, if I move my camera around, you'll actually be able to see that guy right there. That is just a standard station where you can dock at and repair your ship, things like that. And then we have another station that is 6,700 kilometers away. Other points of interest are ships. Ships are denoted with triangle shape icons. So I'm going to stop my ship by pressing Shift F so I can slow down. The bluish color triangles means they're friendlies. Red means they're enemies. If I want to turn around and I don't like using my keyboard to move my ship, I honestly don't. I never use my keyboard to play games. Pressing the letter V will turn on mouse flight, so I'll actually be able to control it with my mouse. At this point, I'm just literally dragging my mouse across the screen. I don't have to actually click or anything, it's just going along with me. Pressing the letter C is going to lock me onto a target, and he's actually close enough for me to hit. So if I want, I can hit the number 1, and I will automatically start auto-firing on him. Now his shields are way bigger than mine. You can see he's got 900 shields, so he's going to absolutely crush me. It's a heavy fighter that I'm going up against. If you die, you have an explosion, and then you have a little warning saying as your ship atomizes around you, one thought remains in your fading consciousness: I have failed. Click OK, it's going to send you right back to the shipyard. You can just launch right away again. And then it's going to just put you right back into that same sector. Notice we now have the ship with the 2 red icons. We don't want to be anywhere near them. That's at least a frigate or above. If you're curious about what ship it is that you're coming across, we do have a guide available for you on our forums. Let me just get it pulled up here, and then I will bring it right over for you guys to be able to see it. Alright, here we go. This is just so you have an idea of some of the other ships that are out there. This guide is called Kinetic Void 201A, Radar Icons in Space. Has a little introduction, and then it's got a breakdown of what kind of ships you're coming into contact with. So here's your basic little ones: light fighter, fighter, and heavy fighter. Then you have frigate, destroyer, escort cruiser, cruiser, battleship, capital, and dreadnought. If you see something that is a dreadnought and it's coming towards you, you should probably just prepare yourself to die if you're in a light fighter. One shot from these guys can just destroy you. In comparison though, you could also be a dreadnought that goes out and hunts down all the little light fighters to your heart's content. So we have our other heavy fighter. He just went outside of our radar range, that's why we don't see him anymore. Have another little guy here. And then we have this, I've spotted suspicious activity near you, and it's this yellow icon way in the back. The quest objective is to travel to the waypoint. So I'm going to turn on my mouse flight mode and get myself pointed in that general direction. And this will be a perfect opportunity to show you guys how the warp works. Just as a heads up, simply pressing the letter F is going to slow you down by roughly 20% at a time, 25% at a time. Same with just pressing the letter R. It's just going to gradually increase your speed as opposed to being full throttle. Also, pressing and holding the letter F will actually reverse your ship, so you're actually going to be moving backwards. Shift F will always get you to a full stop regardless of your direction that you're originally going. Right click on a target, go to Align To. I did turn off my mouse flight mode so I can actually move my ship around, or move my camera around without affecting my ship. Make sure we're lined up to this guy, and right click, warp. I'm going to warp within 100 kilometers of it. I don't want to actually be super close to it. You can tell we're warping because of the wormhole effect that's around us. And then we do have the continuation of the quest where it says that's our target, get them. Now that means we're going to have enemy ships in this area. The mission framework isn't completely set up yet, but obviously when you get a notification like that, you'll start having enemies pop up around you. So here's our enemies. They're way over here. Let's see if I can find them outside of my radar. They are 99 kilometers away from me, so they are quite a ways away. Now the light fighter, the solid yellow triangle, I might actually have a chance against him, but if you look, you can actually see that he's got a couple of friends with him. So this would be pretty much a horrific way to die. By pressing the letter M, we can open up our map. And you are here is denoted by this little blue node that's pointing down, little triangle. So that's what star system you're actually in. So we are in the rainy star system. Now if we want to go to, let's say, Astola, simply right click on it and click wherever you want to go to in that star system. I said I wanted to go to an asteroid field, so that's going to be this general area. I'm going to warp to one of these stations and see if it's closer to an asteroid field. We do have 3 stations that are all around each other, so it's very possible that an asteroid field would actually be closer to one of the others. So this is actually a mining station. It's a great way to be able to show you guys a little bit what this looks like. And yes, we do have enemy ships. They're a group of 5 of them down here. They're still 90 kilometers away, so I do have a little bit of time before I have to worry about them. I'm going to fly around this mining ship so you can see kind of how it's set up. Basically, you'll use your drones to go mine an asteroid, and then you'll go to a mining ship and you will sell your ore there. This isn't set up yet, but this is one of the things that we are actually working on, getting the economy side of the game set up. So I'm just flying past this little mining station here. You can see that it's, you know, basically just a station that's set up to be mining a really large asteroid all the time. It's kind of a pretty little picture in the background there. And then depending on how realistic you want to go, we do have the landing bays. You don't need to go to them, but we do have them set up for you if you choose to use them. Now with these 3 enemy ships that I'm seeing in the background here, or 5 enemy ships that I'm seeing in the background here, 3 of them would crush me without a second thought. One of them I might have a chance against, and then the other I would say I'd probably have a pretty good chance of killing him. If you are flying through space and you come across something and you want to get close, keep in mind that if you run into it, you are going to damage and potentially destroy your ship. Notice how high this damage count was. Negative, what is that, 229,000? Excuse me, negative 2,290,343%. So running into stations, bad idea. don't do it if you can avoid it. Now this is a good example of what happens when you don't have your shield turned on. Notice that I'm still going 3,000 meters per second, that's pretty quick, and I don't actually have my thrusters turned on anymore. If I turn my shield on, you'll notice that my speed drops to 0 very quickly. This is because when I don't have my kinetic field turned on, there's nothing to slow me down. Alright, that wasn't one that I wanted. I'm going to go open my map. I'm actually going to intentionally warp specifically to a station. And this must be a friendly sector because we have a blue icon down there. This guy's still 9,000 kilometers away. I just want to be able to get to another station, show you how you can dock at the shipyard. So we have full throttle on, but I did turn on my kinetic field again, so this should actually keep me around that 900 meters per second or so. If I turn it off, you'll see that my acceleration goes up dramatically. Also, keep in mind that if you have your shield turned off, even if you turn your ship off and you turn it around, you're going to keep moving whatever direction you had applied thrust to. Right? So you can actually see that we're still moving backwards. If I give myself forward thrust, I'll start slowing down. And basically what's happening is I'm just trying to not run into the station. Tell it yes that I want to dock. We can see what kind of modules this station has. This one doesn't even look like it has any engines or hulls. Go to the store, see what kind of components they have in their store. The store inventory is going to change based on whatever station you're at. So keep that in mind. You're going to actually have different things pop up that are available to you. So you will be able to have different experiences. So we have a dual gun over here. So we could buy that. It's only 2,200. Go to our weapons. It's a size 1. And now if we wanted to, we could just plop that dual gun right next to one of our other pieces of our ship. Where can I put you where you are not overlapping? Let's see. Let's put them on the back and actually have them facing the back of our ship. So that just shows how you can go to different stations and be able to see what they have either in their inventory or in their store. And again, this is all in alpha stage, so it will be getting better as we continue to develop the game. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below or find me on the Steam community forums for Kinetic Void. Thanks for watching.